Live from Fargo and serving you on TV, online, and on the go. This is Valley News Live 10 at 10.
A data hack involving personal information is impacting nearly half the country. And as Americans try to figure out what next, there are even more issues coming up.
Plenty of nervous people around the country after one of the three major credit reporting agencies in the country announced that hackers may have the Social Security numbers, addresses, and other sensitive information for around 143 million people.
Equifax is offering a free year of credit monitoring, but that deal may come with strings attached. Valley News Team's Cornelius Hocker explains.
You've been on the Equifax website, put in your information, and got this message: you've been impacted by the data breach. The site goes on to tell you when you can enroll for free credit monitoring, but not so fast. Sharp-eyed social media users have combed through the Equifax data breaches site's fine print and found what they argue is a red flag. Buried in the terms of service is language that appears to bar those who enroll in an Equifax credit monitoring program from participating in any class action lawsuits that may arise from the incident. Late Friday, Equifax responded to the uproar by issuing an apology and saying the arbitration clause and class action waiver does not apply to the cybersecurity incident. So should you register with the Equifax site? It's up to you, but you should know going into the process what you're signing up for. Just because someone in their marketing department wrote that the terms of service don't apply to the cybersecurity incident means nothing compared to the contractual obligations of the terms of use you'll agree to if you sign up for the free credit monitoring. Mike?
All right, thanks, Cornelius. If you don't feel comfortable signing up with Equifax, you can still monitor your own credit by obtaining a copy of your credit report. Every year, you can request a free copy of your report from each of the three major credit reporting agencies. This means that you can effectively check your credit for free every 4 months.
The future of a former Fargo police officer is still up in the air. David Belke is appealing his firing to the city's Civil Service Commission. Belke was fired for a dereliction of duty. His attorney today questioned the leadership of the police department, asking why it took so long to fire Belke if his conduct was so bad for so long. Belke was fired after a lengthy investigation, saying, among other things, he had not filed reports, lacked empathy, and was disrespectful toward the department. Today's appeal hearing will be continued, but there's no word on when that will be.
Earlier this summer, we brought you the story of two West Fargo homeowners who claimed they were ripped off by a contractor who's been fraudulent to others.
Yesterday, an arrest warrant on felony charges was issued against that same contractor for allegedly scamming a Fargo couple. Valley News Team's Molly Casey has our story.
We never asked for payment for the labor costs until the job is done, guaranteed low prices.
That was just one newspaper ad for the handyman on duty. The ads claimed the service was licensed and bonded and had 30 years experience. But those who hired the contractor behind the ad questioned that.
He wanted 25% down the labor and the material that first day.
He never shows up.
The contractor behind the ads is Tony Ronald Klein. He has a criminal record spanning multiple states, and a warrant was issued for his arrest on Thursday for scamming another Fargo homeowner, just like he scammed Kevin Tranby and Judith Tangen.
I want my money back.
You get dates and dates and dates, and nothing ever happens.
Documents from the case say Klein agreed to paint multiple rooms of a Fargo home in July and told the homeowners he was BBB accredited and had a contractor's license. But after Klein received a down payment for the work, he disappeared. Klein is being charged with theft of property for obtaining more than $1,000 from the homeowners through deception and for contracting without a license. And for Tangan and Tranby, they've contacted the state's attorney general, but have one message for Klein.
If you're not going to do the work, give me the money back.
I deserve the money back.
In Fargo, Molly Casey, Valley News Live.
The Attorney General's office urges homeowners to verify the contractor's name and license number through their online business records search before hiring a contractor.
It's Friday, so it's time to take a look at this week's Valley's Most Wanted. And police say Ryan Kinslow, the man you see on your screen, is wanted for a probation violation on felony drug charges. You're asked to call local law enforcement if you have any information on Kinslow.
A police officer was struck and killed while trying to remove debris off a highway near the Twin Cities early this afternoon. Officer William Matthews responded to a 911 call regarding debris on the road near a pedestrian bridge when he was hit by a vehicle. Officials say several agencies responded to the scene and administered CPR. Officer Matthews was taken to a hospital where he later died. Police say the female driver who stopped at the scene is cooperating with the investigation and charges are pending. William Matthews was 42 years old and was with the department for 9 years. He leaves behind a wife and a child.
There's a debate going on in the Carl Ben Jefferson neighborhood over roaming cats. Some say it's against the law, irresponsible, and they're tired of picking up dead animals from their yard. They believe the cats are killing. Others say it's helping control small critters like rabbits that they say is plaguing their yards.
And I'm sorry people don't like dead animals in their yard, but you know, that's what happens when you have animals.
They come in and they scratch in there and they drop and try to cover it up, but you know, it's never covered up, and then if you don't get it right away, it starts to smell.
The Fargo Animal Pound has live animal traps that you can rent if you're concerned about animals in your area.
For anyone who wants to buy a car in the near future, make sure you do your homework so you don't end up with a car damaged by recent hurricane flooding. Cars protected by comprehensive insurance are covered for flooding, but if they just have liability insurance, companies won't, rather, if they just have liabilities, then insurance companies won't cover the costs of the damage. So if insurance doesn't cover it and there's no claim, it can be harder to know if it has damage, even with a vehicle history report.
Seat brackets, any kind of metal in them, start rusting out soon, and this can usually in a spare tire area in cars, the trunk area, lift the spare tire out and see if what's all in there and if the padding underneath the carpet's moldy at all.
Lindbergh says if the car isn't dried out and cleaned properly, you can have a lot of problems with the car down the road, especially if any of the electrical parts of the vehicle have water damage.
The American Red Cross is in need of help. The organization is looking for more people to volunteer or donate. A local spokesperson says their resources have been spread thin because of the Montana wildfires and 2 hurricanes. Locally, they sent people to help in the aftermath of Hurricane Harvey, and also Florida and Georgia for assistance with impending Hurricane Irma. If you can help respond to local disasters or any on the national level, we have a link attached to this story on our website. Go to valleynewslive.com.
As Hurricane Irma churns toward Florida, more of the damage it did in the Caribbean is coming to light. Here's aerial footage released today showing some of the damage done by Irma to the U.S. and British Virgin Islands. The video shows shattered ports, broken houses, and debris scattered on land and offshore. Roofs were ripped off some houses, others were torn to pieces. Hurricane Irma ravaged a series of other small islands in the Northeast Caribbean, ripping down trees and structures in its path.